What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? We are going to be reacting to the Athletics Mock Draft 3.0 by Sam Viceni of The Athletic. He is their main draft guy over there. We're going to be reacting to their mock draft. If you guys enjoyed these mock draft reaction videos, drop a thumbs up, and I'll make sure to do maybe if Bleacher Report drops one or The Ringer or stuff like that. Also, hope you guys are enjoying March Madness today. We've seen a thriller between Virginia Tech and Florida, and then Arkansas took care of Colgate. Illinois is handily beating Drexel right now, and actually Utah State is beating Texas Tech at the moment. But yeah, we're going to be reacting to this mock draft and seeing what he has to do. Did he just go off the, standings of the All-Star break? Okay, gotcha. I reached out to smart coaches who have played each lottery prospect to get a quick note from a guy. Okay. So the first one is Cade Cunningham going to the Minnesota Timberwolves. If the Timberwolves get the number one pick again, it would be kind of crazy. I doubt it happens. But if they get this pick again, Cade is probably the selection, and you have a Cade and Edwards backcourt. I mean, that's fun. I would because I don't know if Cade and D'Lo can work, but who's going to want to trade for D'Lo? That's the thing. That is the thing. I don't think there's many teams out there that would probably trade for maybe the Clippers would trade for D'Lo. Who knows? Like somebody like that. But, yeah, I would go Cade number one overall no matter who the team is, unless it's, no matter what the team is. Pistons taking Evan Mobley. Interesting. I would actually take Jalen Green. I'm a big Jalen Green guy in this draft. He's my number 2 player behind Cade Cunningham with Evan Mobley at 3. But you can't really go wrong with Evan Mobley and having an Evan Mobley, Jeremy Grant frontcourt going forward. That is pretty nice. But I think you might as well try to develop. I mean, Evan Mobley is a freak player defensively, playmaking ability, and kind of inside post-scoring offense. But you drafted a first-round pick with Isaiah Stewart last year, but I guess if you could find a better player, you might as well do it. So can't really go wrong there. So he's got Jalen Suggs going to the Rockets at 3. Disagree with this immensely. Victor Oladipo's most likely gone. They already have their ball handler under contract in John Wall. I would go Jalen Green here 1,000%. I would even look at Kuminga if I was the Rockets a little bit more than Suggs. If they could find a John Wall trade to Miami, then I would look to do this trade, but I'm not a fan of it. Actually, Houston could be a team that could maybe be interested in D'Lo for what their future is looking like. Orlando at 4. Oh my god, I would love Jalen Green on Orlando. Ooh, you have Markelle and Cole. Then you got Jalen Green because Fournier is probably leaving. Yeah, I would be a big fan of Jalen Green going to the Magic at 4. I think he's my number 2 guy in the draft. So if you're getting him at 4, a team that definitely needs wing scoring ability, that's a perfect pick. And then finally, the top 5 is Jonathan Kuminga going to the Kings. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if this is at 5, Kuminga's if you had to bet money where a player is going in this draft, I would bet a lot of money Kuminga goes 5, right now. Because, he's kind of the consensus 5th guy after Cade, Green, Mobley, and Suggs. And then he's kind of, still to step up between the next crop of players, like your Keon Johnson, your Jaden Springer, your Moses Moody, your Scotty Barnes, your Jalen Johnsons, those guys, your Franz Wagner. So, yeah, or Franz Wagner. So, yeah, I think Kuminga's going to go 5, and, I don't see Suggs going before Jalen Green. I think that Jalen's going in front of that Jalen. So who does he have going 6, the first guy out of that top crop of guys, that top-tier elite prospect? So he's Scotty Barnes going to the Cavs. I mean, I guess I would honestly prefer Jalen Johnson for the Cavs, because, would they go a backcourt guy? Do they target, a Moses Moody or Keon Johnson or Jaden Springer? Maybe they like Keon Johnson or Jaden Springer's defensive ability to pair up with Isaac Okoro there. The Cavs are in a rough spot. The Cavs really need to get a top 5 pick. Because I would love Kuminga, I would love Evan Mobley, and I would love Jalen Green on the Cavs. Suggs is interesting, and obviously Cade, you'll make it work. But Suggs is interesting with the ball handling, with already Sexton and Garland being there. So Barnes, no, I do like it, though, because he is a good passer as well. So he's kind of and he can play the 4. And if he can develop into being able to guard 4s and a 3-point shot, he's the perfect stretch 4 in the league. So actually, he might go 6. So number 7, we got Washington taking Keon Johnson out of Tennessee. The 6'5" wing, who is 18. Yeah, Tennessee will probably have 2 lottery picks, it's looking like, if they both declare Johnson and Springer. Johnson is a great defender. He could be the best perimeter defender in this draft, him and Kuminga out there, and Scotty Barnes is solid as well. But yeah, he's kind of an all-around guy, and Washington could probably use that. They're not going to find at 7 that stud player that will be like a Bradley Beal or Russell Westbrook. I think Ed and Keon Johnson getting another wing, though, with Denny Avdia, Rui Hachimura being their last picks. I mean, you can never have enough wings. So that is their pick there. 8, the Pelicans going with Moses Moody. You could see that they have Bouknight going after. I like Bouknight a little bit more. Actually, James Bouknight is probably, Book Knight, Jalen Johnson, Scotty Barnes are who I would take at 6. I would probably take Book Knight and Johnson, and probably Jalen Johnson in front of Keon. And then Moses Moody, who's playing on Arkansas. They just won today, going 8 to the Pelicans. They take another wing. Yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to find the center here, and I don't think they're going to look at Orlando Robinson or Franz Wagner, who's probably not even a center. Here at 8, it's not a great center class. I mean, most drafts aren't great with centers anyway. In 2020, it wasn't bad because you had Wiseman, Okongwu, Achua, Isaiah Stewart, Najee. Like, there was a lot of centers drafted. Poku, obviously the size of a center. But them taking another wing, I guess that is expected. But damn, the Pelicans have been disappointing this year. To be picking 8 again, or just around that area. I mean, they were, 13 last year. But, like, I don't know. Are they going to make the playoffs? they made some moves. Obviously, they traded away Drew Holiday, but we'll see. James Bouknight going to the Thunder would absolutely love this pick. It would kind of suck if the Thunder ended up with pick 9. Like, you just want to see the Thunder add a top guy with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If you watch the Thunder franchise, like, imagine they added an Evan Mobley or a Cade Cunningham or a Jalen Suggs or Jonathan Kuminga. Would be pretty cool, right? But James Bouknight is a talented scorer out of UConn, and I think would be a really good player. Another player that hasn't gone yet is Cam Thomas. He's a lights-out shooter from LSU. We'll see where he goes. Kai Jones, okay, he is another big. Texas, man, they produce their bigs. They produce Marcus Aldridge. They produce, Kevin Durant's not a big, but size of a big. Jared Allen. They produced Mo Bamba. They produced, who was the most recent one? I said Miles Turner, Jared Allen, Mo Bamba. And I guess Kai Jones was the other one. Am I missing? Oh, Jackson Hayes. Okay. I was like, I was missing someone. But yeah, Jackson Hayes. And then producing another one. I just don't think Atlanta would go for another big. Like, they're probably going to match John Collins' offer sheet. I've seen that rumor. They just signed Gallinari to a 3-year deal. They just traded for Clint Capella last year, and he's probably their center. And then they drafted Okongwu, number 6 last year. I do not see them taking another big. They're probably going to go another wing or another ball handler. And could that be Cam Thomas? Could that be Jalen Johnson here? We would have to wait and see. I think they would need another point guard ball handler that will replace Rondo and Chris Dunn down the line. And I don't know who's going to be there. Who's going to declare? We'll see kind of who's after. I don't think Javon Quinterly or DJ Carton will end up either declaring or being this high in the draft. Corey Kispert, yeah, they could go for the veteran, the senior, 22-year-old Corey Kispert. Seems like the perfect Indiana Pacers pick. They're not really a big project team. Well, they did take Goga Batadze. They didn't have their first-round pick last year from the Malcolm Brogdon trade. But I would like Corey Kispert a lot on this Indiana Pacers team. Somebody that's just very smart. He's a good shooter, and I think he's just going to be a consistent player for whatever NBA team he goes to. And he's not the quickest guy in the world, but he's a smart, and I think he's a solid defender on the perimeter as well. So the Bulls taking the other Tennessee player in Jaden Springer. I really don't know who I like better, Springer or Keon Johnson. I think I do like Keon Johnson a little bit more for his defensive ability, but Jaden Springer is a pretty solid defensive player as well. I think the Bulls would need some lottery luck this year to really kind of advance their team going forward. Memphis going Franz Wagner, brother of Mo Wagner. Apparently he's been compared to or Robert Covington, but yeah, he's related to Mo Wagner, and he's somebody that can kind of do it all at the power forward position. He's kind of more of a forward than he is a shooter. He's more of a center. He's a good shooter, and he's a good defender, and he's just kind of a smart all-around guy that's kind of like Keon Johnson, like I said before, or Scotty Barnes, somebody that can just do it all. So next up, we have the Golden State Warriors currently at 14. I'm taking Zaire Williams, definitely a raw prospect out of Stanford. And yeah, he's got the prototypical size you would want, 6'7" wing. I'm sure he's got a pretty good wingspan. I feel like I've heard of that. He's pretty good against against taller guys, I would say, and he's quick laterally, and I think can have some good defensive potential. It's really, will he be able to be a good shooter in the NBA? And with the Warriors, we'll see if he can translate to that. So next up, first pick out of the lottery, we have Usman Garuba going to the Raptors. Don't know much about him. Haven't really watched him at all this year. Usually, the foreign guys, I'll watch more towards the actual draft. And yeah, Usman Garuba, I know he's been known as a pretty good big man coming out of Real Madrid. He's only 18 years old. Raptors, could they maybe go him? We'll see. Maybe they target a wing now, but I guess, obviously he's too small to be a center. Josh Giddey out of Brisbane. Wait, I don't even know where Ideality is. Okay, in the National Basketball League. Is that what the NBL actually stands for? What? Wait. Yeah, wait. The NBL stands for National Basketball League? I thought it was... Okay. I don't even know why I thought it meant something different. But, yeah, don't know much about him either. This is actually the first time I've even heard of his name going to the Hornets here at 16. It's interesting to see the Hornets in the playoffs. The Knicks are going to be a playoff team. We got the OKC Thunder taking Isaiah Jackson. I like his size a lot. He's being compared, like, his size to Anthony Davis when he was at Kentucky. He's a fantastic shot blocker. And I think the Thunder could really use Isaiah Jackson. I would kind of be a fan of a Darius Bazley, Isaiah Jackson front court going into next year's season. Next up, we have the New York Knicks taking Ayo Dosunmu. I think the Knicks do need their franchise point guard, playmaker slash facilitator. Like, I don't think it's Emmanuel Quickly as their primary ball handler slash facilitator, because I don't think he's the best passer in the world. He's better kind of off ball and being more of a ISO scorer, like an off ball shooter and an ISO scorer, especially with his floater. But Ayo Dosunmu, I don't know if he'll have the passing ability for the Knicks to really target him at 18. Maybe they look at Sharif Cooper here, but I think Ayo, honestly, I wouldn't be too upset with this. I think the Knicks should go guard in this draft, they can have enough wings because, like, Alec Burks might not be back or Reggie Bullock. So, yeah, guard. They'll have 2 first-round picks, so they'll have this pick in the Mavericks pick, so we'll see what they add. But I would not mind Ayo Dosunmu. Honestly, at 18, I think he'll go a little bit higher, especially if he has a really good tournament. Celtics at 19, Day'Ron Sharpe. They need bigs, and he is a huge man out of UNC. I feel like we're going to see this this mock a lot over the next couple of months. Knicks getting Jalen Johnson at 20. Whoa, okay. Maybe I was being a little premature saying Jalen Johnson could go 6. He's probably going to go more in like the 9 to 14 range, I think. Yeah, 6 I was way too premature. But 20, I don't think he falls that low. Because obviously he opted out of Duke. He was a little inconsistent this year. And he was not very good on defense. But I don't know. I think like on offense his ability is too good, and his size and that's his athletic ability. 20, I just don't see that happening. Next up at 21, we have somebody I've never heard of, and that seems perfect for the Spurs. Not going to talk about this guy too much. Where is this guy's name? Alperen Sengun out of Besiktas? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the Turkish league, okay. Is that where Goga played? I actually don't even know. But, yeah, I don't know anything about him, so I'm not going to talk about him too much. Greg Brown going to the Nuggets here at 22. I think this is an insane pick. I love this a lot. He doesn't pass the ball. He's not a good passer, and he turns the ball over a decent amount, but he can shoot the ball. And if he could be a stretch 4 and potentially be that guy next to Nikola Jokic that maybe they wanted Zeke Naji to be, but he's not really penning out, or Zeke Naji to maybe replace Mason Plumlee. But I think this is great value at 22. I wouldn't even mind if, the Knicks, I would have liked that if they didn't take Obi Toppin, because the Knicks don't need Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, and Greg Brown. Next up, we have the Rockets taking Sharif Cooper. I think he'll go a little bit higher. Auburn, not in the tournament, I believe. Yeah, I don't think they're in the tournament. So he really won't be able to showcase his skills, but I think I'll actually go a little bit higher. We'll see him at the Combine, obviously, but being a young 6'2" point guard with a great handle and I think pretty good basketball IQ and good vision, he'll go probably higher than 23, I think. Trey Mann at 24, someone that just hit like the game go-ahead shot for Florida today. Sophomore, could have went out last year, but he's been phenomenal this year. And if he continues to have a good tournament, like if he can play well in the round of 32 and if they can advance to Sweet 16 and play well there, he'll probably lock himself in as a first-round pick. Clippers here at 25, Davion Mitchell out of Baylor. To be honest, when I watch Baylor, I only watch Jared Butler like a lot, so I don't know too much about Davion Mitchell to really say anything. I'm transparent with you guys. Like, I don't know every player in this class, and I do not know a lot about Davion Mitchell, so I'm not going to really make an assumption on him. The only Baylor guy I really can have a good assumption on is Jared Butler. But Davion Mitchell, I'm sure I'll learn more about him as the draft process comes along. 22-year-old junior, though. Maybe the Clippers like him. So the Lakers taking Chris Duarte out of Oregon. Now, he's a good three-point shooter. That's what I've seen. I didn't watch a lot of Pac-12, but I have seen him play a little bit. And I know his main thing is shooting, and he's old. He's shooting, and he's old. He's 23. Maybe the Lakers like that experience, though. Nets at 27, Cam Thomas. Damn, I mentioned him a little bit before. I did not think he would go this low. This low at 27. Maybe it's his defensive ability, or maybe it's like he's not really much outside of a shooter. Like, he's not really the best ball handler. He's not the greatest defender, and I wouldn't say he's the best passer in the world. So it's like, will he be anything more than just a spot-up three-point shooter? But he was phenomenal. He averaged 23 points, hit 87% of his free throws, and I know he shot well from 3. Like, now I'm just wondering what his three-point percentage was, because I know it was actually pretty good. It was 32% through the year. Or no, that's for the career. What was his last season stats? Oh, okay, so he's obviously a freshman, so duh, that is his career. So 32 from 3, bought immense volume. I didn't really need to go off. Does it say how many he took a night? 7.3 threes a night. think that's pretty good. I think that is pretty good. Obviously, it's like, what else could he do besides be a shooter? Aaron Henry out of Michigan State going to the 76ers. They just lost to UCLA. I think the Sixers could always use wings, and they could look. Actually, that's a pretty good value pick at 28, Aaron Henry. Suns at 29. It's crazy that the Suns have. Do they have the second best record in the NBA right now? That's kind of absurd. That is kind of absurd. But yeah, Josh Christopher out of Arizona State. Another raw guy, as I mentioned before. Who did I mention was super raw before? Oh yeah, Zaire Williams. But I mean, Josh Christopher, he's a good scorer. And I think he's a pretty good shooter, but he's not perfect there yet. So it's really what he will be at the next level. And he has the athleticism to be a good defender. It's just, will we see him develop into that said player? And then finally at 30, the Jazz taking Rokas Jokubaitis out of Zalgiris. I don't know anything about him, so I will not make an assumption. So we actually made a round 2 mock. Jared Butler to the Thunder in the second round. I think that's good value. I like David Johnson in the second round as well. Brandon Boston, I mean, he's been horrible for Kentucky this year. He was not very good, and he was a top prospect coming in, but I think that's good value in the second round. Maybe you can turn him around, or is he another, who am I trying to compare him to? Who was the guy in Kentucky that transferred to, it wasn't Terrence Clark, it was Khalil Whitney. That's who I was comparing him to. Next up, we have JRE going 37. I actually thought he could maybe be a first-round pick. Marcus Bagley going 38, another Arizona guy. Terrence Clark, Miles McBride from West Virginia. These are notable guys. David Duke, I actually like him a lot. He might be a riser. Terrence Shannon, second round. I thought he'd be a little bit up there. Isaiah Todd out of G League Ignite. Luke Garza, I think he'll get drafted. Charles Bassey in like a, not the best big man draft, but there's some big men. Will he go into the second round or will he go a little bit higher? Kofi Cockburn at Illinois, probably their second best player on a great Illinois team this year. Phil Petrusev out of Mega. Didn't he go to Gonzaga though, so now that's why I'm kind of tripping a little bit. And Derek Olsen Jr. out of Boise State. He's another guy to keep an eye on. But yeah, those are pretty much just like some notable guys I just wanted to mention in the second round if you were interested. And yeah, that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did, and let me know in the comments if you liked who your team took or if you didn't. And I'll hope you guys are enjoying your March Madness, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.